Okay, so after we're done with the quadratic, how to completing the square, now we can do the quadratic formula. So chapter 9.4 is about the quadratic formula. Okay, so the general forms, first of all, we need to know the general form or the standard form of the quadratic function is ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Well, we learned two ways to solve this equation, right? Either we factor it or we complete the square. Right, and we do some manipulation in here. Okay, so this one is called completing the square. This is called solve by factor. Okay, now we have third way to solve it. It's called quadratic formula. So the formula is x equals to negative p, positive and negative, square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So that's the quadratic formula. So how do we use it? Look, if I have a function x squared plus 3x plus 2 equals to 0, we just need to identify which one is a, which one is b, which one is c. Well, a is the leading coefficient, which is equals to 1 in this case. B is equals to 3. C is the constant term, which is equals to 2. So x is equals to negative b, positive and negative b squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, c, which is 2, all over 2 times a, which is 1. Okay, now we simplify it. X is equals to negative 3, positive and negative 9 minus 8 over 2. 9 times minus a equals to what? Square root of 1. So square root of 1 is equals to 1. So x is either equals to negative 3 plus 1 over 2, or x equals to negative 3 minus 1 over 2. So x is equals to 2 over 2, which is 1, or x equals to negative 4 over 2, which is negative 2. Is that good? Okay, if you look back at the function, maybe you will say, oh, I can just factor it. So look, x minus 2, x plus 2 times x plus 1. That's the AC method. So x is either equals to negative 2 or x equals to negative 1. Well, we end up to have the same solution. So you may wonder why you just spend so much time to use the quadratic function if the AC method is so easy to get to the final answer. That's correct, because sometimes when you solve a quadratic function, they might not be able to factor, or it's really hard for you to complete the square. In that case, you can use the quadratic formula. Okay, let's do another examples. So I have 25x squared equals to 30x plus 11. So remember, what's the standard form of a quadratic formula? Is ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. That means when you look at this equation, the first thing you want to do is you want to set the equation equals to 0. Okay, so I have a 25x squared minus 30x plus 11, not plus 11, minus 11 equals to 0. And now we can identify our A, B, C. So look at this one. Well, in this case, maybe this one you can factor, right? Also, you can do complete square. It's up to you. That still work. Today, I just want to talk about quadratic formula. A is equal to 25, B is equal to negative 30, C is equal to negative 11. So X is equal to negative B, positive and negative B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So we plug in the number. Negative B, okay, B is equal to negative 30. So negative B is equal to what? Positive 13. You can see a negative B and then B is equal to negative 13. So negative B is just equal to negative 30. I've seen that a lot. And then negative 30 squared minus 4 times 25 times negative 11. Don't forget the negative sign. The negative sign is really important because they can change the result totally. Okay, so I have a 30 at what, 900 minus, oh, plus 1100 all over 50. Well, let's simplify it. I have 30 positive and negative square root of 2000 over 50. Okay, how do we simplify it? Square root of 2000 equals to what? 20 times square root of 100. 20, we just did it. Did we do? Oh. 20, you can take it as square root of 5 times square root of 4 times square root of 100. So we know that square root of 100 is equals to 10. Square root of 2 is equals to, square root of 4 is equals to 2, and then with square root of 5. So X is equals to 30 positive and negative 20 times square root of 5 over 50. Now we can simplify it by divided 10 for every term. So you have 3 at 2 times square root of 5 or minus 2 times square root of 5 over 5. So that would be a solution. Let's do another one. 4x squared minus 12x plus 9 equals to 0. A equals to 4. B equals to negative 12. C is equals to 9. X equals to negative B, positive and negative B squared minus 4AC over 2A. Negative B is what? Negative 12. Negative, negative, you will have positive. Positive and minus negative 12 squared minus 4 times 4 times C, which is 9, over 2 times 4. So I have 12 positive and negative 144 minus 144, which is over 8. Well, square root of 0 is equals to 0. So I have a 12 plus a negative 0 over 8. So that means we only have one solution because you add 0 or subtract 0 will be the same, equals to 12. So you simplify it, you will have 3/2. So that's our only X. Okay, so what if we have a missing term, such as 3x squared, we have 3x squared plus 7 equals to 0. We know that our a is equal to 3. B is equals to what? D is equals to 0 in this case. Because look, we're missing now a term. Whenever we're missing the term, we use a 0 to substitute it. Because 0 times x squared, you can look at it as 0 times x, which is 0. So you can imagine there's a 0 in the equation. So they won't change the value of the equation. C is equals to 7. Okay, now we use our quadratic function. Over 2a. Okay, we substitute negative b inside with a negative 0, positive and negative 0 squared, minus 4 times 3 times 7, all over 22 times 3. So x is equal to 0, positive and negative. Again, everything's multiplied 0 is equals to positive, plus or minus 0 is still remain the same. Negative 12 times 17 is equals to 84 over 6. Okay, negative 84 and then square root is equals to what? First of all, we have a negative 1, 84. Wow, we have a 4 and 21. Square root of 4 is equals to what? 2. So we have 2 times square root of 21 times I. So a solution should be positive and negative 2 times square root of 21i over 6. You can also simplify this 2. Here's 3. So our x is either equals to positive and negative square root of 21i over 3. So that would be the solution. So, okay, let me recap. So we learned 3 methods to solve a quadratic function. Quadratic function. We have factor, which is our AC method. Sometimes we use the cross multiply. We can also completing the square, what we learned in last class, to find a b over 2 square. We add them on both sides and then subtract them. So the function is going to become x at b over 2 squared. And then we also have the quadratic formula, which is x equals to negative b, positive and negative b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So we have all the toolbox that we need. So you can pick whichever way that you feel you're comfortable with to use it to solve the quadratic function. Unless the question, the problem from the quiz or from the text specific asks you, hey, you have to use the quadratic formula. Otherwise, you can choose whatever method that you like. Okay, so that's it for today. You might already learn the quadratic formula in your high school. Maybe yes, maybe not. If you did, so take it as a review. Don't forget the homework. I'll see you next time.